thriller video owes a lot to horror films in general, and George Romero's Night of the Living Dead in particular. With a look at that horror classic, here's Masters of Terror and host Vincent Price.
Have you ever been afraid? Afraid of what's in the darkness? You hear footsteps coming and you're afraid to turn around. They're getting closer and closer. And you know that no matter how fast you run, no matter where you hide, you can't escape. Director George Romero breathed that kind of fear into every frame of his cult classic, Night of the Living Dead. The story is a simple tale. Recently dead, unburied souls come back to life and attack the living. The zombies must eat human flesh to survive. Night of the Living Dead was the creation of a small group of filmmakers in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The look was cheap, the acting crude, and the story gruesome. But it changed the genre forever.
The original backers were us. There were 10 of us that kicked in $600 each, and that bought a case of film, and we rented the farmhouse. And then as we started to shoot some of the film, we were able to show dailies to people, and they saw that the lip movements were in sync with the dialogue, and they said, "Looks like a movie to me."
The production cost a mere $70,000. Most of the cast and crew worked for nothing, including a Pittsburgh TV horror movie host.
Well, I got a call from a fellow I'd not known named George Romero, and not knowing him, I was a little reluctant. But after about 3 or 4 phone calls, he seemed so sincere and knew what he was doing. I had turned others down. I said, why not? We'll make a local chiller movie. And I said to him, what's the name of it? He said, Night of the Living Dead. I said, well, with a title like that, okay, why not?
It was a new kind of horror film, and many felt it was making a political statement. The zombies were seen as 60s conformists whose senses were dead. Also, the hero was black, mistaken for a zombie. He was killed by the sheriff's posse, only doing their job.
I truly do believe to this day that that is something that is read into it. I think George set out to make an entertaining film that would scare you. And I'm not sure that he was reaching for deep sociological explanations or symbolism.
Night of the Living Dead was, I think, a kind of an angry film, even though it was very campy at the time that it was made. I think it did have this political underbelly, which I think people noticed. It was one of the films that people pointed out when they said we need a rating system, because otherwise people will continue to make violent films like this.
Since becoming a cult classic, Night of the Living Dead is played virtually every night somewhere in the United States. It has made over $30 million. With that kind of draw, director George Romero created 2 more films. And the fans, like the zombies, keep multiplying.
The most extraordinary thing about the zombie films is that people come from everywhere to be zombies. There's this great desire to be a zombie. I don't know what it's about.
Well, that's easy to explain. You see, I've had some experience in this matter. But then that's another story for another time. Until we meet again, I'm Vincent Price.